Hey guys, it's Jen, and I am here to share with you all of the layouts that I made with my November Old Meets New Stash kit. And these are kits that I put together using older product and newer product from my stash, and see how many layouts that I can get done with them through the month. So my November kit was a Christmas kit, and if you've been keeping up with my YouTube channel, you've probably seen some of these layouts. I have some more to share with you today, so I'm going to show you all of the layouts first in order that I created them, and then I will show you what I have left over. This is the first one that I created, and it's called The Magic of Christmas, and I love this layout. I just think it's soft and pretty. I used all of the papers are from the new Chamel collection, something Christmas, and I think it's just pretty. And then the rest of the stuff is older from my stash. So like these were speech bubbles that I cut the tails off, and they've been in my stash for a long time. Same with these silver star rub-ons. And some of these stickers. So that was a fun one to create. And there's a process video on this, so I won't go into detail about that. This one is called Santa, We Are Kind of Over Photos with the Big Guy. And I did a layout share with this layout in it, so I won't go into detail on this one either, but this just uses a piece of old glitz paper for the background, layered up some papers behind the photo, and kind of created a little bit of a diagonal design with a large title. These letters were not included in the original kit, but I just added them in here because I really liked the way they looked. And this is in a layout share, so I'm not gonna share that. If you want to see all of these layouts, you can go to the Stash Kits Old Meets New playlist on my YouTube channel. So this one is a page and a half, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna go like this, so that my daughter's looking over to this page kind of. And this is a page that I created with this Pink Fresh Studio paper for the background especially, and this is in a layout share as well, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about that one. But so there's that. So that's 3.5. This one's called Our First Real Tree. Again, this is in a layout share, and I just cut up a Chamel paper to make a little forest of trees and then hand cut my title. So there's that one. This one was in a process video last week, so this is the last one that I've shared with you. The rest of them are new. And so I won't go into too much detail about this. There is a process video on the entire creation of this one, but this is kind of a page and a half. I had a lot of photos to include for this one, so I just used my fuse tool and made some custom pockets for these little 2x3 photos to go across from these two photos. So there's that one. So all of these layouts that I'm going to show you now are the rest from the kit that I created. And to be honest, I don't love some of them. Do you ever get to that point where you kind of feel like you're just done and you're happy to get the layouts created and that's good enough? And some of these feel like that. Some of them I really love, some of them not so much. This is one of the not so much ones. But what I did was I cut some pattern papers into squares, and then I cut the squares in half so they're triangles, and I just layered them up. You can tell if I lift them a little bit that these are triangles of paper. There's little spaces, and I was fine with that. And I just kind of created a pattern with that. These are some photos of my daughter waiting to meet Santa, so I called it the waiting game. We're also waiting for Christmas, so counting down to Christmas die cut was perfect. I added way too much gold splatter, but like I said, I kind of don't care. I wanted this layout to be kind of it looks like an upside down tree. I maybe should have done it this way. I think it might have worked better actually, but you know, it's what it is, and I think it looks okay. This is a flare that was not originally in the kit, but I just pulled it from my stash, and that's from Close to My Heart, and it has a little Santa Claus on it. Let's see if it will focus on that. There we go. So there we go. So you can see this photo's from 2011. What I did with this kit was I pulled all of my old photos and put them all together with this kit, and I got all of them scrapbooked, which is awesome. So this little piece came off. I'm just going to glue that back on. I may need to go back and just make sure all those are really well adhered. So this is the next layout, and it is very gold. This background paper is from the Jen Hadfield collection, her most recent one. I can't remember what it's called. But this one is called Mary and Malia, and we had a church Christmas party, and my sister-in-law and my mother-in-law, the theme was Today I Walked Where Jesus Walked, and so my sister and mother-in-law came as actors and walked around to the tables as people were eating and told them about the time that they saw Jesus, and my sister-in-law played Mary, and so I just kept this one really gold and really pretty simple because the background is kind of on the camera when it's not reflecting in the light. It looks a lot calmer than it is, but in real life, like, it's very reflective, and so it's kind of busy. But I just cut some of these papers up this is from an October afternoon paper, and I just kind of scattered them down the side of the photo, and then used some of the gold stars that are from the Maggie Holmes collection for that as well. And then I pulled some yellow enamel dots from my stash. They're kind of a mustardy yellow. I wanted them to go with this die cut. So that's kind of really the only color on the layout is the yellow along with all of that gold. And then I guess there's a little hint of red on that Peace on Earth little banner there that's from pink crepe paper. So really, again, a simple layout, and I just layered up a bunch of different white pieces of cardstock and paper. This I included from my stash, this doily. It's from Maggie Holmes. And then this bag was, I think I had added it into the kit originally to start with, so I put that at the very back. So just lots of layers, and other than that, pretty simple. This one I actually like. I called it My Heart Grew 3 Sizes today. At this moment in time, these were my 3 favorite people. I mean, besides my husband, but that's my daughter, my daughter, my brother's daughter, and my sister's son. And so we all 3 had one child at one point. My sister now has 2 kids, and my brother has another kid on the way. But at this moment in time, this was last year, we each had one child, and this photo just made my heart so happy. And so I just I journaled on the side about how this photo makes me feel, and it's hard to believe that we each have a child, and how grateful and blessed I felt. And so I hand cut these hearts. The first one is in white cardstock, and then I used the Ellie Studio red paper, and then this is a Chamel green paper that has some Christmas phrasing all over it. And I did 3 purposefully because I knew I wanted my title to be My Heart Grew 3 Sizes. And I just kind of roughed up the edges so that it gave them a little bit of definition and put it on the side. And then I put 3 of the little Maggie Holmes hearts because, again, playing up that idea of 3. And I sprinkled some gold color shine all around, and I stapled some gold thread, which had a hard time staying down, so I did end up using some multi-matte medium to get that to stay. And then I just layered up a bunch of papers behind the photo, including some leftover frames from the first layout that I created. Was that the first layout? No. The second process video. It was this one. So I had cut up a paper with a bunch of frames around it. I used a few of the leftovers behind the photo. And then I actually pulled a couple of these papers from a 6x6 paper pad that I had not included in the kit. But I just wanted a bunch of kind of neutral layers. And then the background paper is kind of a yellowy cream, and I had included that in the kit to begin with. And then I just layered up some washi tape, some of that Chamel Gold Star vellum, and then this is a branding strip from one of the Chamel papers. So I really like the way that one came out. I thought it turned out pretty cute. So there is that. This one uses a Chamel Christmas paper for the whole background, basically. And I just used a single photo. That's all I had of this particular event. And this was the marketing Christmas party for my work at the time. And so I just kind of layered everything around the photos because the background is pretty busy. I needed to keep everything else kind of toward the center. I used a couple of Flair. This one's a Felicity Jane and this one's a Close to My Heart. These are also from Close to My Heart. I mentioned that I used to work there. This is a lunch that was when I worked there, and so I thought it fitting to use some of their products. And then I just put my journaling kind of up and it comes down the photo, and I made it so it fit between the 10 and 11. So it does overlap slightly, but not too much. There you can see. And then below it, I stamped a couple of roller date stamps, and I also did that up here just to kind of tie it all together. And this was a branding strip, and I cut it into a bunch of pieces and layered it behind the photo just for some more texture. So there is that one. I backed the whole thing on some bright green cardstock too, and I drew a line around the edge just to kind of give it a little bit of definition. This one was a page that I created to intentionally use these tags. Again, this is a layout that I had this single photo of, but I knew I wanted to document the story. My daughter wanted a pillow for Christmas because I had a comfy pillow and apparently she did not. And so I got her pillow, or Santa brought her a pillow actually for Christmas. And so that's just, it's just a simple layout, just 6 tags. I put a piece of washi tape to kind of like hold the tags, and then I put some silver glimmer mist just along that line on each of the tags. And then other than that, it's just really super simple. I used a bit of brush script too. And then this last layout, which I do actually really like this one, has 3 photos, and this is my mother-in-law always makes the girls matching little outfits and skirts and different things. This time she had made them matching aprons for Christmas, and this was in 2011, so that was quite a few years ago. And so this is just documenting how she invited all of the girls over to make cookies, and she gave them their aprons, and they made Christmas cookies. And so I started with this Chamel vellum for my background. I wanted to keep it kind of simple, and then I used the gold letter stickers and thickers for my title, and then this came from the sticker sheet that I had included. And then there are 3 little speech bubbles that I backed with green to help them stand out. And then I used part of a red doily there. I used a little bit of the gold washi tape up above this strip and below this strip. It's not very noticeable, but it's there. And my journaling here in the center. And I like this kind of layout where the 3 photos are separated a little bit. And I think that putting the title and journaling in between them kind of helps tie it all together. And I really like the way that the banners turned out. So I just hand cut the green cardstock. And then what I did was I poked holes in the sides of it and then stitched with some just gold sewing thread. I doubled it up and stitched through it and knotted it at the ends. So that was it was pretty simple, but a fun one to create. So that is my last layout. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5-ish, 6, 7, 8, 9 and then a half, 10, 11. So I created 11 plus 2 half pages, so if you want to call it 12, we can. Let me show you what I have left over. So I keep my kits in iris containers, which I really like doing. So let me show you first what's in the little tray, and then I'll bring back the rest. So I threw a ton of Flair in here, and I have a bunch left over, and that's okay. I used some, but I didn't use all of it, so I'm just going to toss that back. I keep my Flair in this little container here. Then I had these little Christmas thought bubbles, which I used a few of, but I still have a few left, so those will hang around, I'm sure. I had some sequins, and I didn't use all of those up, but I'll just put those back in my stash. I had a basic gray little die cut package, and I used up a few of these pieces. They were left over from another kit, so there had been some of it used up before. I think I'm going to call this done, and I'm going to put this aside and maybe give it to my daughter, or I have a friend locally that I give things to. Let's see. These are cut aparts from the papers, so I have some more of these frames left over from the paper I cut up, half a doily. There's a few stickers in here from the sticker sheet, and then the rest of what's in here, those are stickers. The rest of what's in here are Felicity Jane die cuts, and I used some of those, but I still have a few left over. This is actually not a Felicity Jane die cut, that's an old crate paper. So I still have a few of those. I used up a bunch more of my stars, but I still have some left. I used up a bunch of these letters. I used up some of these letters. These ones I had added afterwards. I didn't actually use any of those. Of course, I'm always going to have leftover washi tape. I did use these quite a lot, but those will just go back in my stash. For my tags, I think there were maybe 12, and I have about half of them left. Maybe there were more than 12. No, there were 12, and I have 6 left. So I used half of them, all on the same layout. These are pretty cute. Some of them, so I got these at the warehouse sale, and I think the ones that at the American Crafts warehouse sale that were there are misprinted. So like this one, you can hardly tell that it says Merry and Bright. So I was thinking it'd be fun to go over it with my brush lettering on here, or I can just use the top of the tag, which is fine. And so these will just go back in my tags, no big deal. I used, I think, 2 of these little, I had some of them used up, but I have 2 left. I used a bunch of these Maggie Home stickers, none of the circles, but I used a bunch of the stars. The stars are almost gone, and I used a few of the hearts. I used these on one layout. This was something that I added to the kit after I was already kind of into it, so I'll just put those in my stash. And then obviously it's stamps you don't use up, but I did use each of these stamp sets at least once. This was another thing I added after I created the initial kit, and I used a few pieces from that. Again, another one that I added after I created the initial kit. I used 2 of the 4 frames, so I used the white one and the silver one. This was something else I added, and I used a couple of doilies. I still have, I guess it's 1 full red doily that I had included. There were 2 in the original kit. And then I have 1 of these pieces left that's from Close to My Heart. And then this was something I had added in, but I didn't even use, so. That's what I have as far as embellishments go. I'm just going to toss it all back in here for now, and I'll put it away later. Okay, so let me show you how much of the stickers and the paper that I used. I guess in the alphabets, I used each alphabet at least once. I think I only used the gold one once. I used the red ones quite a lot, which is good because I don't know when I would ever use these again besides Christmas. So you can see I used up a whole bunch of them. I used these once at least, and I used these at least once also. For my sticker sheets, I did get some used up, not a ton. I think what's left is just kind of the stuff that I might not ever get to, so I might give these to my daughter. They weren't full to begin with, though. Okay, so paper. I don't have a ton of paper left, which is what's good. I like when that happens. Okay, that's just white cardstock that I had added in. So, of the Chamel paper that has the, I think I use this paper quite a lot, but I have a little bit left over from the Christmas Magic collection. That's the Jingle paper. There's a little bit more of it. This one, this is the one that I cut the trees out of and made a little forest. I didn't end up using the warm wood grain, which is why I actually kind of wanted that in the kit, but I didn't end up using it. So I have a little bit of that left over. I have some of this Christmas one, which is also from that same Chamel collection. I used this paper quite a lot. I really liked this this pattern. I think it's really, really super cute. And so I have a little bit left of that. I have a little strip. You can see most of what I have are strips that are about 4 inches or less of these papers. So that's a super old paper from the Lush collection by My Mind's Eye. Green cardstock. That wasn't in the kit originally. I added that. This is all I have left from the Chamel Vellum. I will be keeping that. These are some branding strips. I'll probably just toss those. This I cut some pieces out of and I used them on one layout, but I still have a bunch left, so trying to decide what I want to do with that. I used a little bit of this silver glitter paper, but I still have more than half a sheet left. Oh, there's more of that green paper. This is a branding strip. That's a sticker. I didn't use the red cardstock, the black cardstock, or this green cardstock, but that's all the paper I have left. And I started out with, I think, 14 or so patterned papers, and so for that to be all I have left, that is pretty darn good. So I am calling this kit killed. I hope that you've enjoyed watching these, and I will do another stash kit starting in January. Thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you soon. So here are some close-up photos of the layouts that I hadn't shown in previous videos. You can also head over to my blog at CraftyJenScow.com where you can see these photos as well. And I will link to all available products in the video description below, as well as over on my blog. And it will be much easier to decipher on my blog because they'll be separated by layout. So if you want to see what I've used, then go ahead and head there. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you very soon.